and we are the Zoning Board of Adjustments for Putnam County, Florida. We operate under the authority of Articles 11 and 12 of the Land Development Code as amended. The primary responsibility of the board is to hear and decide appeals challenging final determinations made by the Planning and Development Services Department under the Land Development Code, and to hear and act upon requests for variances, special use permits, nonconforming use determinations, and preliminary development plans under the Land Development Code. Today we have a variance. A variance is a relaxation of the requirements of the zoning code in a particular case where, because of unusual circumstances, a literal enforcement of our zoning code would result in undue or unnecessary hardship. The zoning code permits us to authorize variances only for the height, size of structure, size of yards, and open spaces. If we grant a variance, we may impose reasonable conditions on the use of the property, which must be satisfied if the variance is to remain valid. The standards we use in deciding whether or not to grant a variance are listed in Section 45-833 of the Land Development Code. I'm skipping the special use permit because we do not have a request. Okay, procedurally, we will call each case by name and number. A member of the staff will then briefly explain to us the nature of each request. We will then take any comments from the applicant or their representative, followed by any public comments concerning the request. Please direct all comments or statements to the board and not to other people in the audience. Before speaking, we will ask each person to be recognized, come forward to the lectern, identify his or herself by name and address. After all persons wishing to speak have been heard, we will entertain a motion from the board. This motion will be voted on by board members and become our final order. Any decision made by this board can be appealed to the circuit court. However, any appeal must be filed within 30 days after the Board of Adjustments has rendered the final order which is being appealed. Are there any questions? Okay, before the first case is heard, all of those wishing to speak today need to be sworn in. So will the notary administer the oath? Okay, before we hear the first case, I would like to ask if anybody has any concerns about me changing the order of the agenda and having the election of officers after the case is heard. Any objections?
No objections here.
Okay, then we will proceed with the first case, and that is variance 21-00. 5, okay, it's not on the agenda, it doesn't have 5, yeah, okay. Okay.
Good afternoon, board members. As you indicated, we are hearing residential variance case number 21-005. Background information: the applicant's name and address has been redacted under Florida Statute 119-.071. The parcel size in question is 0.19 acres. The zoning is residential R1A. Future land use is rural residential. The request is to place an accessory structure on a vacant lot across the street from the primary residence as allowed by Land Development Code Section 45-104B. Background information: the subject property is located within the San Mateo Estates Unit 1 recorded subdivision. It's dated March 4th, 1957 and was administratively vested March 16th, 1999. The applicant acquired the property in 2017, a few months after purchasing the primary residence, with intentions of placing an accessory structure across the street from their home. The property's owner's neighbor informed them of the variance requirement for the accessory structure, as they had to be approved for one in 2020 under variance 20-007. According to the property owner's variance application, they intend on placing a 40 by 40 metal garage on the property with a 41 by 41 foot concrete slab to support the building. The impervious surface ratio for the proposed development equals 20.3%. The ISR for this zoning district is 35%. Again, the zoning district is residential 1A, R1A. Future land use is rural residential. The FEMA flood zone is flood zone X. Variance criteria: special conditions and circumstances exist which are peculiar to the land, structure, or building involved. or the proposed development design utilizes innovative planning and design which will result in better development and will be an asset to the community. Staff analysis, the property comprises 0.19 acre. Platted lot is approximately 76.34 foot of frontage, 115 foot on the right side of the property, 63.2 foot on the rear, and 115 foot on the left side. The applicant resides directly across from the lot in question. LDC section 45104B reads as follows. In order to place an accessory structure on a lot or parcel separated by a public or private street from the principal use or structure, the property owner must obtain a variance from the Zoning Board of Adjustments following the requirements provided in Article 9, Division 4 of this code. The lot on which the main use structure is located is developed with a single-family home and would exceed the maximum allowable impervious surface for the zoning district if the accessory structure were to be placed on that lot. Number 2, the special conditions and circumstances described in paragraph A above do not result from a failure on the applicant's part to follow applicable county, state, and federal land use regulations and building codes. The analysis there is the subdivision was platted in 1957. The configuration of the applicant's land is not a result from their failure to comply with applicable county regulations. Variance criteria 3, granting the variance requested will not confer on the applicant any special privilege that is denied by this code to other lands, buildings, or structures in the same zoning district. The analysis, the requested accessory structure is permitted in the applicant's zoning district. However, the pre-existing property sizes prevent the applicant from placing the proposed structure on the same lot as their primary residence. A survey submitted by the applicant depicts the subject lot directly across the street from the applicant's residence, and a similar case was recently approved in the same neighborhood. Any citizen in Putnam County has the ability to make a similar request to be reviewed by staff and decided upon by the Zoning Board of Adjustments. Criteria 4, literal interpretation of the provisions of this ordinance would deprive the applicant the rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the same zoning district under the terms of this code and would place unnecessary and undue hardship on the applicant. The applicant's lot containing the primary residence is too small to build an accessory structure of the size proposed by the applicant because the house and driveway encompass a majority of their permitted impervious surface area. The waterfront setback does not permit placement of structures within 25 foot from the mean high water line of the St. Johns River. Any citizen would be able to apply for the same request if the citizen were to own a separate lot from the principal lot by a roadway. Therefore, literal interpretation of the provisions of this ordinance, which would require that structure to be placed on the same site, would deprive the applicant of an avenue to request permission for the intended action allowed to other citizens within the same zoning district. Criteria 5, the variance granted is the minimum variance that will make possible the reasonable use of the land, building, or structure. The proposed accessory structure is permitted in the applicant's zoning district and will conform to the principal building setbacks of the R1A zoning district. The structure is proposed to have windows and a gabled roof, which increases the compatibility of the structure with the residential character and aesthetics of the neighborhood. Staff has proposed a number of conditions similar to those imposed on the approval of case number V20-007 to mitigate the aesthetic impact of a large metal structure on the surrounding established residential neighborhood. Criteria 6, granting the variance will be in harmony with the general intent and purpose of this ordinance, and such variance will not be injurious to the area involved or otherwise detrimental to the public welfare or interest. The requested variance is to allow for the construction of an accessory structure on a parcel separated by a public street from the principal structure. This is a use that is allowed within that zoning district. Strictly speaking, the subject property may be reasonably utilized without granting the present variance. However, the request is stipulated by the Land Development Code as an avenue to allow placement of an accessory structure on a lot separated by a roadway from the lot containing the main use. The requested variance is the minimum that will make such placement possible. conclusion and recommendation. Staff finds that the requested variance meets the criteria required for issuance of a variance in Land Development Code Section 45833 and recommends approval of the requested variance to allow an accessory structure on the lot separated by a street from the principal use, subject to the following conditions. 1, all required permits pertaining to the construction of an accessory use shall be obtained prior to the start of construction. 2, the proposed proposed structure shall substantially comply with the rendering submitted as an exhibit dated October 22nd, 2021. 3, the exterior of the proposed building shall be compatible with the existing residential character of the neighborhood. Metal siding shall be painted in accordance with the description provided in the narrative submitted as an exhibit dated October 22, 2021. 4, to mitigate the aesthetic impact of the proposed structure to the surrounding neighborhood, prior to final inspection of the structure, the applicant shall install shrubbery a minimum of 18 inches in height planted 3 foot on center along Riverside Drive right-of-way and along the adjoining property lines within view of the proposed building. Any questions?
Anyone have any questions for staff? Okay, none? Thank you. Okay, before we proceed, let's do a site visit roll call, please.
Yes.
Mark Fisher,
No.
Linda Osborne,
Yes.
Mary Ratliff. No. TJ Smith,
Yes.
Ron West.
Yes.
Okay, before we have the applicant, Gabriel, I just want to, since everything is redacted, I'd let you know that I did speak with the applicant, and he said he felt comfortable coming to speak in front of the board. So with that in mind, I'm assuming, like I ask you, that if he speaks, everything will be redacted in the minutes, correct?
Yes, ma'am. The name and the address will be redacted. However, this is being filmed and it's being broadcast right now. So if you would like to refrain from disclosing your name and address, you may do so. We have it on file, so as long as the chairman's all right with that.
I'm okay. I was just interested more in the making sure that there was nothing divulged as far as the applicant is concerned. So
Right.
if it's going to be televised, he may think again.
I'm good with it, if you just alleviate announcing that.
Okay, then would you like to, I won't say your name, I'll just let you come on up and you can tell us the information you want to tell us. How's that?
I thank you all for taking time to hear this variance. Me and my wife live on the house across the street. I moved here from Jacksonville in 2017 after retiring from law enforcement. We moved down here. I came out of retirement, currently working for Putnam County Sheriff's Office with Sheriff Deloach. We bought the house and the lot simultaneously there with the intentions of putting up a building. I initially, in 2017, approached the zoning, and they said that it was hard, if impossible, to do. So then when my neighbor had the building put up, I researched it, and I'm before you today requesting approval for the building. Where I'm intending to do is build a garage storage area across the street. The residence I live on the river is the first house in this subdivision built on the water, and it's a very narrow lot with limited storage, unlike some of the other properties there that have substantial property on it. Currently, I'm keeping a boat trailer and other, my son's Jeep and stuff in the field across the street. What I'd like to do is be able to, because I want my neighborhood to look nice, I want to be able to conceal all this within the structure and use it for storage. My intent is to build it and make it, it's not going to be a high-sided building. It looks like a commercial-grade building. My intent is to have the building blend in with the neighborhood, I'm going to be purchasing the building with colored panels and colored roof, and, you know, I'd like to put shrubbery up. It's going to have 2 bays, garage door bays, and a walk-in door facing the street, at the street there. I don't want to live in a neighborhood where someone's going to have a big old gaudy building, and I don't want to subject my neighbors to that either. It's not my intention for this variance to do that. It's just to get the extra storage and to keep storage from across the street.
Okay, all right. Any questions from the applicant? Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I have to ask these questions just to make sure that everything is up and kosher. Is that anyone else in the audience wishing to come forward and speak in favor of this application? No one's coming forward, and I will ask the question, there's no one else in the audience but anyone wishing to come forward and speak in opposition? No one is coming forward at this time. So, at this time, we will close the meeting to the public and open it up for board discussion and motion.
Madam Chairman, I move we approve variance 21-005 as it meets the criteria for variance required by section 45-833 of the Putnam County Land Development Code, with the 4 conditions recommended by staff, and authorize the chairman to sign a final order.
I'll second.
We have a motion and second. Did Mr. Ballinger beat Mary? Okay, so,
Doesn't make any difference.
it doesn't make any difference, we have a second. Okay, so we have a motion and second to approve variance. Let me make sure I get this one right.
Question, are you voting?
21-005. Okay, no further discussion? All of those in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, right hand. Okay, motion carries 6-0. Just one other reminder, there is a 30-day appeal process, but, you know, since there's no one here, you never know what's going to happen. But good luck with your endeavor, and thank you. You're quite welcome. Okay, last year, when we did the election of officers, our attorney conducted the process. So, how are we going to do it this year if it's on the agenda, or do we wait?
That is a very good question. If you'll give me just a moment, I'll run out there and see if he's just not tied up with somebody in the office.
Okay, we will take a brief recess and.
Okay.
The minutes?
Okay, we'll just go check
Okay.
him and we'll finish up with the minutes then. All right, has everybody had a chance to read the minutes for, I think we're in November? Let's find them. November 17th, 2021? Is there any corrections or
Did
everybody?
you make the motion? I'll second your motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the November 17th, 2021 meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Okay, well, I guess we'll take a brief recess until Gabriel comes back. That was last year. Order, but before we proceed with the election of officers, I would like to introduce our newest planning person that's joined the staff, Joseph Searly. Okay, I think Joseph came around and introduced himself to everyone, so if you want to come to the podium with Gabriel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You all know his name already, Joseph Searly. He comes to us from St. Johns County. He has extensive planning experience, cumulatively like over 10 years or 15? Okay. And please welcome him to our team. You'll be seeing him fairly often.
Okay, welcome to Great Putnam County then.
Thank you. It's great to meet all of you.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Perry, we waited on you because last year you conducted the election of chairman and vice chair, so we decided to follow that procedure.
Yes, ma'am. I was actually looking for the form I used last year, but I may not have it with me. Oh, I think I do have it, as a matter of fact. And once again, Madam Chair and Board committee members, I apologize for my tardiness. I just ran into a little bit of a delay, and I got over here as soon as I could, so
Okay.
I'm sorry. We have a quorum, so as we did last year, Madam Chair, I'll kind of follow the same format. Before I begin, may I ask the members if there's anyone who is not ready, willing, and able to fulfill the duties and responsibilities of the position in the event that they are elected either chairperson or vice chairperson.
I think I was last time, too.
All right, sir. Is there any member who would prefer not to be nominated for a position?
I don't feel like I've been on the board long enough.
Well, TJ, that's kind of up to you. I think that most of our committee members will tell you that it's kind of you learn as you go. You do have a lot of staff help guiding you. We have our planning department, which guides you, and the experience of your fellow board members. So please think about that, okay?
I do have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have a period of time that the person can sit? I mean, how many times can you be voted into?
I don't think there's a,
no term limit that I know.
I don't think there's a term limit. Like I say, I've been here 25, 26 years, and there's only been 3 chairmen in that length of time.
Yeah, I've been here a long time.
You got somebody willing to serve, hold on to them.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Don't let them go.
Served very well. Served the board very well, yes, thank you. Sorry.
No, that's quite all right, Mary. Does any member of the board object to the vote being conducted by a show of hands? No? All right. Very well. The floor is now open for nominations for chairperson. Do I hear any nominations?
I'd like to nominate Lynn.
Second.
All right. Do I hear any further nominations? No? Nominations are closed. We have a nomination, proper nomination, second and a second. Can we have a show of hands, just for the record? Very well. Ms. Osborne, once again, you are our chairperson. Congratulations.
thank you guys for your trust
we'll-
and thinking that I'll do the right job.
And we'll open the nominations for vice chairperson. Do I hear any nominations?
I would like to nominate Ron West as our vice chair again.
All right. Second. Do we have any other nominations? Hearing none, nominations are closed. All in favor of Ron West being our vice chairman, please raise your hand. Very well. Unanimous
What
vote.
about anybody opposed?
Well,
You're outnumbered.
you're outnumbered today.
Motion
Mr.
carries.
West, you will be our vice chairman for another year. Thank you, sir. And Madam Chair, I'll turn the meeting back over to you then.
I would just like to say, if I could, that I feel like this board of all the boards that I sit on is run smoothly.
Thank you. If I ever get out of order, y'all let me know. Okay, well, thank you very much for your confidence. Okay, I guess the only thing left then will be to adjourn. Does anybody have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? What? That's the only thing that I have unless there's new business that I don't know of. Okay, all right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, meeting is adjourned. Good luck.